So for me, there was a grave temptation
Capcom presents.
to believe, it was more than a temptation really, to believe that I was isolated with evil, that I was sealed off from society in this sort of pocket of evil that was the little apartment or series of apartments that I lived in with my mother as a child. Because when you are being abused, it's weird. Because the signs are everywhere, you know, like I had terrible clothing, holes in my clothes, I was hungry, I was tired. A friend of mine's father, who was a doctor, had to sit me down after puberty and say, dude, you know, you got to start using some deodorant, right? I mean, no concept of self-care. You're just trying to survive. You don't worry about how you smell when you're running from a bear, right? So you're just trying to survive. And so the signs are everywhere. Everyone sees it. And it's not just the esoteric signs. It's like I never had a haircut. Or once my mother cut my hair with pinking shears, you know, the little awning like some Italian cafe or something. It's not just that kind of stuff. It's, you know, I mean, I lived in apartments. The apartments had thin walls, as they generally do. And, you know, the beatings and the screamings and, like, everybody. And nobody picked up the phone, right? Nobody called the police. No teacher said, you know, oh, how are you doing? I was blamed for this. I've talked about this before. Like, people said, oh, he was lazy, he was, you know, inattentive. You don't focus, you don't concentrate, you're not willing to put to good use the gift that nature has given you, and you're just, you know, kind of lazy and fruity and so on, right? So I remember when I was young, I wrote a poem about this in my teens, about how if there were a bunch of people in line for a bus and there was a kid there and some dog came along and attacked the child, people would be like, oh my gosh, you know, let's whisk the child to safety, let's deal with the dog, let's take out our umbrellas and poke it. Like, people would be like, oh my gosh, this is terrible, the child's being attacked. In the line to a bus, we must act, we must protect the child, we must restrain the predator. Restrain the predator. You take that same situation and you make it apparent and you put it on the second floor of a building in London or in Toronto. Nothing. How many people? And this, I'm not talking about me, you understand? I mean, I'm illustrating a point, a purpose with you, right? I've gone through therapy for years for this stuff, and so I have a great life now, and again, I thank you for your support and your enthusiasm for what it is that I talk about. And I feel in response, not funny, I feel in response to your generosity, your kindness, your support, that I owe it to you to unpack my heart like a whore and tell you all that I have considered in understanding the growth of evil and in promoting the cause of virtue and the protection of children in this world. I owe you the truth to unpack my heart and my mind and my history. It's illustrated, right? So I did a back-of-the-napkin calculation many years ago about how many people knew that I was being abused as a child. I can't remember the exact number, but if you take into account teachers, camp counselors, neighbors, friends, parents, friends' older siblings, and I kind of said, okay, well, there are a bunch of kids, they could talk to their parents, but, you know, it's kids, it's a little tougher, so I limited it to adults. And we moved a lot. Like, we moved a lot when I was a kid.